Well, the deadly crash of Asiana Flight 214 killed two teenage girls and injured 182 people.
And even if that number seems low, doctors have a warning. If you have survived a plane crash, get medical attention immediately because the symptoms may not always be visible. And would you know what to do in the event of an emergency landing? So let's bring in Dr. Ernest Patti. He's a senior attending physician of emergency medicine at St. Barnabas Hospital in the Bronx. So 19 people still being treated, in critical condition, many of those, as a result of this crash. And you say that there are some common injuries that occur in incidents like this.
There definitely are common injuries, and there's also common things that we can do to decrease our chances of getting injured if you find yourself involved in a plane crash.
For example?
Some of the most common injuries we get are head trauma injuries from flying debris. And also the key thing that happens in an airplane crash is the deceleration. You're in a plane that's traveling, a few hundred miles an hour, and then all of a sudden it abruptly stops. The physiological effects on your body are tremendous. You may be belted in, but your internal organs are moving inside your body when the plane stops and hits the ground. You can get fractures to your spine if the plane should hit vertically. You can get fractures to your chest and internal injuries to your abdominal organs from a forward deceleration. You can get long bone injuries.
So what should you do?
So basically what you need to do is a number of things when you get on the plane. As you're entering the plane, you want to count the rows to the nearest exit, because many times in the confusion after a plane crash, it's dark, it's smoky, you may not see the lighting that directs you to
You don't know where you are.
You don't know where you are. So if you know you're 3 rows behind the exit row, you can count your way up. You also want to follow that pre-flight movie that they always show. Each plane is a little different. You want to know the safety features involved. You want to wear your seatbelt when you can. You want to wear good clothing on the airplane, and that includes long-sleeve shirts, long pants, closed-toe shoes. Really helps sometimes with flying debris. Don't forget, stuff flies in an airplane
Well, in
cockpit,
this particular incident,
or in the fuselage.
the top of the plane collapsed. They said inside, but even prior to the fire, that there was a collapse that came down on top of people.
Stuff was flying around.
And as a result, they're dealing with spinal injuries, some of which dealing with paralysis, they said.
Definitely, and a lot of that has to do with that deceleration, that tremendous stopping of this huge plane in motion, and you and your body inside that plane get caught up in the forces. Can cause many different types of injuries.
Head protection is important.
Head protection is important. You want to make sure you assume the brace position if you in fact know that the plane is going to go down. They have the 2 variations of the brace position, but one is normally where you put your head down sort of on your lap or between your legs and you grip your knees. The other one is put your hands in front or in front of you on the seat back and put your forehead onto it to rest your head on your hands. You can also use a pillow if you have one. If you're holding a small child, you use one hand and cradle the baby in your hand.
Oh, and that begs the question, what if you aren't given a warning that this is going to happen, which apparently these folks, there was no warning. This, within 7 seconds, the pilots were actually expressing concern. So what can you do?
Then I guess the best thing is when you're seated in your seat, always have your seatbelt on. That would probably be the least thing that you can do to help your safe passage on that plane if it does in fact get involved in an accident.
Right. Stay low to avoid the toxic fumes.
Exactly. If there's a fire, which most of the time there is, you have to stay low to the ground. The air is a little fresher and clearer there, and the smoke and the toxic fumes can knock you out and you might not get off the plane.
Great advice.
Thanks so much.
Dr. Ernest Patti of St. Barnabas Hospital in the Bronx, thanks very much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.